Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you all. I hope you all have had and will have a lovely day, whatever it is you plan to do with it. Uh, Dave's just been yelling at me like, I'm allowed to use the bread, but only once. It's like, yes, only once. Only when it's appropriate. Oh, I'm not? Wow. What a concept. What a concept. I am, in fact, not made of pixels. So, in terms of updates, in terms of things that have happened since Saturday's stream, the answer is not much. This page is a very weird page. There's a lot happening here in general, because it's chock to the full of spoilers. I think like the poison for Cusco's poison spoiler is literally a spoiler. There's a whole bunch of other shenanigans, and I've basically just been shunting every single one into spoilers so that I know I can just close stuff. It makes it slightly easier for me to get to things. I have done other things since, though. Like, I have done more than just formatting, which would be pretty pathetic if that was all I had done in 3 days, but in my defense, I'm very lazy overall. Shunt the spoilers, just shunt them. I had a, 4 a.m. nightmare of how time works. So I'm just like, ah! I was like, hey, raiders! Stay true. Welcome, raiders. Did the actual raid, image go off? I have no idea. But it's fine. Stay true, raiders! Welcome, the 7 of you from Siobhan. I hope you're all having a lovely day. Thank you for dropping by, Kajatan, even though you won't be here for very long. Any moment is a moment enough. And hello to Bob, Natalia, and Siobhan. Hope you're all having lovely days and you got much writing done. Because, as we always say, everyone that streams around me gets lots done, and I do not. But that's part of the fun. At least for me. Say true, it's not too much trouble, please. Aw. Oh, that's so cute. Hello, Angstays. I don't think I've seen you in my chat before, but welcome. I was just saying that I haven't done a whole lot since that day, because I've just been slowly chipping away at preparing for Nano, since I haven't done Nano in something like 5 years, I think. Oh god. Yeah, something like 5 years. So I've been planning, and I've had this story in my head for approximately 2 years, so I've been just throwing stuff at it. And one of the main things I did was this is almost like a notepad article of just all the shit that I think I need, just notes that I've taken. And this doesn't include all the notes I've made in my Discord, which I just throw in at 3 in the morning. I have an idea. Throw it. But I have done things aside from formatting, which I've been told not to diss. So you won't diss the formatting. One thing I did was I realized something was super busted with my distances that I was using as estimates for how long it would take to get anywhere, because my issue was that I didn't want to have to do math. And so what I did was I just went onto Google Maps and I picked a point from my house to somewhere the similar distance and just put bike. And I was using that as the estimate for how long it would take to ride anywhere. That's not how riding works. By horse, horse riding. And I was like, oh shit. Because something went horrifically wrong with this calculation here. It was telling me it would only take 10 hours, and I'm like, excuse me? What? It's 200 kilometers in 10 hours? By horse? Are you sure? So I had a 4 a.m. nightmare figuring out approximate speeds. My notes are bad because I'm sitting there going, they just keep going. Wild. NanoWriMo was nerve-wracking. It absolutely is. This is probably the most I've prepared for a Nano, basically ever. And that's mostly because I'm on camera doing the preparation, so I have to at least do something. So I made some changes to the numbers. Someone last stream said that an army can march around 60 kilometers in a day. And I think that is true, but when I was looking into it a bit more, because I was like, that seems a bit fast, especially for walking speed kind of stuff. I think the 60 was based more on like modern military, perhaps. And so I've brought that down to closer to 30. Because A, it kind of balances it out, because they're just walking. They're not super fast. And also that the army in question, which I only needed their number for one thing, but the issue with the army in question here is that they have never been in an actual war, so they're trained, but they're untested. So they've never really had to actually march from A to B. There's an issue with them coming together because they've been split in half because of how the front works that they're coming from. There's just a whole bunch of stuff. They don't have the resources that they should have. So I'm just like, yeah, just cut it down. I said that even though they're only 80-ish kilometers from where they need to walk to, actually probably less because of like where the border is, I've still given it a fairly like wide bit as well. Because like with the army, like if your column's really long, it takes like 4 hours from when the column starts moving to when the end of the column starts moving. And so you don't travel for that long per day. Like, the soldier will only walk for 5 hours. You leave at like dawn, and then the end of the column leaves at like 10, you know, and then you sort of all slowly roll into camp all the way along. I think is how it works. So I just kind of slowed them down a bit. I figure I can wiggle room it, because there's a whole lot of stuff happening at the same time. It's not too many days. Like, 3 days isn't too unreasonable for people walking. There are horses, so there would be possibly a like horse like cavalry unit who can go ahead and get to the location well faster, but the majority of the army is not horsebound. They're not cavalry, so most of the army will arrive in around 3 days. Around. Some of them will straggle in because of shenanigans. And scouts as well. So scouts will be going on ahead. They can probably get from the southwest front to Cosden in a day if they go at it like full on. Like, especially since it isn't actually 80 kilometers they need to go, I don't think. I should just put the map in here. Hold on. Let me just put the map in this thing. I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need the map. There it is. Need the map. I'm going to put the map in here. This makes my life way easier if I just have the map. Army on foot. He's in a march, 10 to 15 miles. Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of number that I'm currently working with. I think, since I said about 5 kilometers per hour, walk for about 4 to 5 hours a day, I'm falling into that estimate. Because it is a multi-day march if they're going at that pace. Because they will not get, they're doing it. Saving. They're untrained, and you don't want to go too fast. She's working through it. And again, like, they don't know what the hell they're doing. This is the first time that this generation has been at war. They haven't been in a war in 100 years. They have no idea what they're doing. Standards varied. Recruits required to complete 20 Roman Niles in 5 summer hours. Oh, damn. Okay, so that is slightly further in a day than what I had set, but not by much. And so I feel like with all of the factors of a lot is happening with the march that's happening that I needed the math for. And since the character, the point of view character, is not present for when the march leaves, he's not in the march at all. He's on the other side. He's on the enemy side being marched against. he wouldn't know when the army actually leaves the southwest, so there is that degree of wiggle room as to when do they leave. Doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, they went faster further in training. Yeah, I'm sure they're good at marching. It's just they're all confused. War is difficult. And they want to arrive at battle in no exhausted state, so they want to make sure they can set up camp, get everything sorted, they've got their position set up, and they're ready to go. Woo! No. Well, like, there's the horse that the pack animals help because they can help the people go faster because alleviates their stress, they can go for longer, but, yeah. And the Romans were very tough. They went full on for a lot of that stuff. And even though the group marching is fairly militaristic, again, the issue is they literally have not been in an actual war in over 100 years. So they have no idea what they're doing. I mean, they kind of know, but they also kind of don't. Since the last engagement was in 336, it's 425, it's been like 90 years. Like, there are people in living memory who can remember the last time the country was doing the battle, but not someone who was actually doing it. There are no veterans of the First War who are still around, so, you know, the experience has not really been carried through as much. They're trying. Actually, yeah, 80 isn't too bad. It's probably about 10 kilometers off, because I was basing it off of from here to here, and the army probably wasn't here, but there are troops coming from this kind of area, because they have to guard here, and also stop these two from joining. They do not succeed. Probably. Oh, Poncho's in the way. Right, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. It helps. It helps, but, you know, this will be useful. Oh, look at this. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that's actually quite useful. Ah! Continue with that, Booker, please. I'm busy. That is very cool. Oh, for God's sake, ads anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna keep a note of that. Because I might, maybe like during a sprint or something, I'll be like, it's time to look into it. And just fully get the math down. Because I did spend like a 4 a.m. session just going, how does math work? Like I said, 5 kilometers per hour for the army, approximately. 12 per hour for horses, in theory, and then 20 for a boat, which I think is 20 is technically too fast for the kind of boat, but there's magic, so it's cool. I probably should just keep, actually, yeah, I might take, I'm gonna just take that and I'm gonna check it in my notes Discord, and I will forget it, but like, I'll put it there anyway. And I'll kept a note of it so I don't forget. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Which means yeah. So they would have a couple of those, but not as many as they would like. So that's part of the issue, is that the army is not quite stocked for what it's doing. Because she's not doing this with imperial authorization. She's low-key doing a coup. But only low-key, because she's literally marching away from the person she's doing the coup against. But it's a whole thing. So, she doesn't have all of the equipment that she would want to have, but she's doing her best with what she has. She's the villain, but she's doing her best. And again, I can always fudge the numbers a little bit. Because there is a long stretch of time between when because she is in the story briefly early, because she is actually a character. The person in charge of the march. It's in here. But I haven't gotten that far yet, actually. No, I have. Because she shows up here on the 20th of Bremos. And then I haven't gotten too far into the timeline. Well, I've gotten, this is what, like Act 1-ish? There's a lot happening. This is most of this isn't shown. Like, these two things are off-screen events that I wanted to keep track of. And this is like pre-stuff. The story starts on the 11th, which maybe I'm gonna actually note that. Make that more obvious, so that I know what's going on. I'm gonna B, and I'm gonna U that bad boy. Gonna make it whoosh. Like, so she leaves... Oh, the underline didn't work. That's rude. But she's on screen here on the 20th, but the incident in which she is required to be present in the end location is probably like on the 40th or something. So she has plenty of time to go do a low-key coup and stuff. So she's got time. Because she doesn't immediately start marching when she leaves this location, because she then needs to get from the city to the front, and then she needs to get from the front to the other place. Yeah, it's gotta woo. Did I actually... Oh, I didn't do travel time for how far away Shonyul is. Oops. I probably should have done that. Because Shonyul's here. It's about 80 kilometers from Kazum. That doesn't mean anything. Oh my god. Well, hold on. We do the math. If that's 80, and that's 80, that's probably 80. It's an equilateral triangle. 2 days. Same thing. Yeah, they still need to travel their own kit. Or at least, like, the basic kit. A lot of the stuff's traveling thing. They've got what they need. They would have their own kit. The main thing is they probably don't have as many pack animals as they want. And they're probably lacking a couple of, like everyone has their own armor and shit, because they're already carrying that stuff. And they've got, like, their specific weapons and stuff. But, like, they're missing some of the fancier stuff at this point. But they're fine. And by they're fine, I mean they're the villains, so they'll lose eventually, right? That's the vibe. A low key is in, like, low and then key. But yes, a low key coup. A coup by a low key god of mischief would indeed involve a lot of monsters. We don't have that. Ooh, it's actually really useful. How far? Hello, I desire a number. Ah yes, the Napoleon walks real fast. I think I've seen something. Okay, so he did 22 miles a day. Miles. This is my issue. This is my issue with research, is that I hate having to do conversions. It's so annoying. 35 in a day is more than what I had, which is fine, because it still works out to a similar number at the end anyway, I think. Well, it cuts off about a day of travel time. But I guess part of what my number is sort of, like, hinting at is... No, I appreciated the pun. I loved the pun. Yeah. 50 miles, 20 kilometers. Excellent, yeah. So around 20-ish kilometers per day. And then there's the wiggle room for the fact that people are leaving at different times, like just straight up different times, because the front is weird. The front that they're leaving from is not a uniform location. And so I'm not slacking. I'm not slacking this time. I promise. I promise I'm not slacking this time. Okay, yeah, Napoleon was the exception. Napoleon was doing wild stuff. Yeah, so, yeah. The French army, 20s, yeah. And then there's just this shit. What is this? What are you doing? Germany. No. Well, I guess Austria and Germany. No. What is that? That's too many. That's too many. That said, these are for significantly longer trips. I guess as part of that thing, is that a lot of the March numbers that they give for these kind of things are based on, like, weeks-long things. And this is a week. Like, it's basically going to take, like, 8 days tops for the majority of her force to get to where she wants them to be, before they start, like, spreading out along the front and stuff. the front that they're creating in the northeast. But yeah, like something to that effect. And then there's just this tiny one. Wow, Jesus, that's speedy. No thanks. Good lord. But yeah. So I think I'm like the math doesn't super matter because like it is wiggle roomy, but like it's cool. It's nice to have the information because before my information was possibly a little messy. Not that that's the fault of whoever it was, I think last stream, who said it was 60 kilometers a day. I think that was A, conversion issue, and B, a wrong time period issue, but that's not their fault, because I didn't tell them, like, what the timeline was, like the equivalent time zone. Yeah, and the terrain as well. And that, I guess, is part of the issue, is I don't actually know the terrain super well. This is the continent that I haven't developed that as well as. Like, this area is a pain. This is where it gets really hilly and disgusting. But that's actually outside of the bit. Oop, hydrates. Mountain's bad. Mountain's real bad. Mountain's real bad. Thank you for the hydrate. Water good. Yeah. Like, it's roughly 3 days. And she's probably going to stop short, gather the majority of her forces, like, wait for more people to arrive, and then start going forward, I think was the assumption of what was going to happen. Because she doesn't want to arrive in the northeast and not have all the people she needs. It would be beneficial to the protagonist if she did, but she won't. Because she's the villain, and she doesn't care. Yeah, and roads as well. I mean, some of this probably has decent roads. That said, there's no guarantee everyone in this area especially is going to be, like, cool with them. There's a number of people in, like, this chunk here that are not cool with the army coming through. Especially not Muna's army doing her thing. And everyone's like, what are you doing? The hell? Get out of here. God. And there won't be any people up here. That's not gonna happen. But it's like here, here, here. Good question. I don't know. I assume that they're carrying food. I think they're carrying food. That said, since this takes place just before harvest, they can absolutely forage. That will not please the locals who own the farms that they would just be stealing from. And since she's actually not imperially sanctioned, they definitely won't be pleased. Like, if it was the Emperor, they'd be pissed. But she's not even, like, she's just doing shit. It's like, what are you doing? So I think she kind of has to rely on carrying her own and only wild foraging. And foraging slows the army. But they don't have a lot of food because it's harvest soon. So it's after the harvest you get all the food. So, shenanigans. And the weather, I have no idea what the weather's like. I can always make it worse if I have to. If something about the math is getting funky, I can always just put in like a thunderstorm and just go, you deal with that now. Like, heck, maybe she decided not to leave because the weather was shit. And that delayed her even starting the march to begin with. It's that kind of thing. Again, the good thing is there's plenty of wiggle room for the march. It's just that was the most complicated math involved in any of this. Because the rest of the distance math was just me doing like a hypotenuse, going yee, making some triangles. Ooh, we're getting complicated now. I'm not sure how much of their resources would be defending supply lines. I assume most of their food is just from like stuff they already had. Because the army had been mobilized and had moved to the southwest, and now she's taking them up to the northeast. She's not doing... It's complicated. It's probably not sensible. She has a plan. It may not work for her, but she has a plan. But I'm assuming it's mostly just, like, things that they kind of already had, that they'd acquired from just, like, people having food. Because just because it's just before harvest doesn't mean there isn't no food. It just means that there's maybe slightly less than there would be otherwise. You are good at making things complicated. I appreciate it. And the defenders could do Scorched Earth as well. They probably won't, though. Which is, I guess, something in the enemy's favor, is that the orange group probably, in fact, no, they definitely don't want to do Scorched Earth if they can help it. Like, they do not want to do that. That goes against pretty much everything they are trying to do. As, like, an entity doing secession. That is like, we don't want to destroy anything. Our entire point is that the Imperials treat us like shit. So if we treat them like shit, we're no better than the Imperials. So they can't do Scorched Earth anyway. They can do, like, a degree of, like, pulling stuff back. Like, yeah, harvesting early. They might not want to burn the fields, but, like, if the field has already been harvested, it's not going to be much use to the advancing army. Not much use. There's still something in it, but, like, again, they don't want to destroy stuff if they can help it. And they only control this terrain, and the assumption is the army kind of has to stop at the border, which, how well defended that border is a whole other problem that they have to deal with. That's the Madura's problem. That is the protagonist faction problem, and oh boy, they'll deal with it. And by that I mean they're gonna get, like, their asses beat at least once. I mean, I guess burning the fields, since it is over winter, the assumption then, if the field is burned over winter, it's not a huge deal. So I guess it is fine, because you don't plant until spring anyway. So they might somewhat prematurely, yeah, they can do that then. Then they might do that. They might take a couple of the fields along these borders, somewhat prematurely harvest them. They kind of have to. They're on a bit of a time crunch here, and then just kind of raise the field, and then move the people out of the houses that are there. And just be like, get out of here. Nope. Leave nothing for them. So I'm making note of that as well. I'll make an entire extra spoiler called Military Notes, Dear God. Squeeze it. And then just military notes. Spoiler. Blech. It doesn't as much resources as she would like. Has been hampered by bad weather and by unprepared troops, unfamiliar with war. To be fair, she is too. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Well, let's try and see if we can get this. Oh boy. I don't know if that link is gonna work, but we're gonna give it a shot. We'll give it a try. We'll see if it works. Come on. Woo! There we go. Aha! Okay. Yeah. You just get rid of stuff after. Yeah, assuming the houses don't burn, burning the crops can be useful. So I think that they would be able to do that. The main issue is that it would be somewhat premature. Like, early harvesting, probably not great. Maybe not the year for it, but they kind of don't have a choice. Yeah, remember, straw is not hay yet. Just yet. They'll take a bit of the straw, they'll hit the rest of it away. And go, nyeh. And they can just... That makes sense, because then there's less for the army to bring in. So they will have done that with a lot of the outer farms along their border. They probably would have burnt them because they're just like, nah, less than nah. We'll take what straw we need and we'll just get rid of it. I mean, I don't know the difference. I get confused. Something about it being dried. It's grass. I don't know. I mean, like, straw is like wheat chaff stuff. It's not chaff. It's wheat stuff. And then the hay is just something that's dry. And I'm like, okay, grassy stuff. They could wait until the army's in the field, and they might do that. Yeah. And she'll have to deal with food rationing such. The Madura is probably going to burn some of the fields in their outer regions to prevent her from foraging the supplies when she arrives. This means a somewhat premature harvest to avoid due to the time constraints and the lack of notice. But it means that Muna can't make bread. That's the bit. She can't make bread now. Rip Muna's army can't make bread. What a shame. Hay nutritious straw stems, that's significant. Ah, gotcha. Right, okay. That makes sense. Because you just use the straw as just like the ground stuff, but because it looks similar to hay in that it is like long, like it's not a stick, but like long sticky thingy. Everyone's like, it's the same thing. Especially since like depending on where you see it, what the lighting is like. And I mean, city folk don't know nothing. I know nothing. There used to be a horse paddock up the road from me. I remember nothing. Straw is less good than wood shavings, but it works. And hay still has the seed pods attached. Ah, right, okay. Excellent. So yes, burn the fields. Main point, burn the fields. Burn the fields, prevent her from having resources. This actually probably will come up. So this is actually quite useful because it will be a discussion that the defense minister will have to have with somebody. Probably at least the treasurer, going like, hey, listen, we have to stop their advance. They probably don't have a lot of food. I reckon we burn the fields. He's like, but we need the resources. And it's like, no. But she can't have them. So it's like, no. That would be a fun discussion. Oh boy. Making straw and raising rabbits in this materials. Aww. I don't think I've ever handled straw or hay. I would say stray. I've never handled straw or hay. Like, I'm just like... I'm just confused. I've ridden like one horse. I've ridden like 2 horses, but like... That's like a decade ago. I don't remember nothing. Yeah, thatch. Yes. I remember thatch. Just a whole bunch of things going on weedy. I'm sure they'll use thatch for something. The Madura's like, well, we did burn the fields, but we did take some of the stuff with us. Let's make thatch. Let's just make thatch. It's like, yeah, fair enough. Burn the land and boil the sea. There is no sea. Oh god, they're gonna have to deal with the they might have to deal with naval, which is not fun, and I don't think it's my problem currently. Yeah. Yeah, farming community would have thatch roofs. Yeah. We do know that we don't have a lot of thatch here. No, I mean... some places might. Oh, yeah. You build, like... You put up the wood struts, and then you put a bunch of like straw and stuff, and then you just smother it with mud. You just smother that stuff with mud. And you make that house. And so they might actually do a couple of that as well. To set up, like, because some of the places are not super defended. Because it is mostly civilian stuff. That's the Orange's issue. There's a lot of civilian stuff. So they might end up using some of that straw and stuff to make defenses. This is really really. Not the music isn't too loud. So they might make really shitty mud huts along the edges, like, it's shelter and we can use it to make like walls and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's fair. There's like just a bunch of shitty mud walls all the way along this. But it tries from me. I don't know what that song is. I don't know. I don't know what song you're referencing. Yeah, Waddle and Dob, yeah. They have a lot of things at their disposal, because they also have the prep time. Because they've been preparing for a while. Kind of. The timing's funky. Because I think it is in here, isn't it? Yes. Because there was... They've had it... Oh, goddammit. Come on. Dunk. Yeeted. Yeet the bot. They had the Firefly theme. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. I sound like I'm judging you. I'm not. I've just never seen Firefly. I think I own it, but I don't know where or who had it. Someone in this house had it. It wasn't me. But they had like the 27th, the army mobilized in the southwest, or it was beginning to mobilize in the southwest. But even before like 25th, takes me about 2 days for news to get there. So at least 27th, they're like, oh yeah, shit's happening. It's go time. And so they've had like at least 20 days between knowing shit's going down and deciding to join in. Join in. Wade into it. You gotta wade into the shit time. I guess. Of a kind. Oh, I totally understand. I completely understand appreciation of Firefly. Everything that's been explained to me about it sounds like my kind of thing, except that I don't like watching TV shows. That is my whole issue. So I guess I could just watch the movie. I don't own Serenity, though, I don't think. I think I only have the show. And I don't know who has it currently. It might have been my brother. Who knows? I can't listen to music on stream, though. I can't listen to copyrighted music on stream. But my friend tried to get me to join her Firefly-themed TTRPG at some point, but I didn't end up going through with it because I was mega anxietied out of my existence. So that didn't happen, and I regret that. I think she's currently running it, and I'm like, damn it! Foiled again. Foiled by my hubris. It's not my hubris, just my anxiety. So, yeah. I'm like, okay, you can add it to the list, Day. We'll get to it eventually, after every other thing that we need to watch. Oh, okay. Cool. Let me just pop it open. Because I have seen some, like, old construction stuff. Yeah, is this the one I've seen? Hold on. I think this is actually the one I've seen. Because it looks really familiar. I think I've seen this exact video at some point. It looks really familiar. So I think I've seen it. Hell yeah. I love watching old construction and like primitive construction, that entire subgenre of videos. I love those. So I am familiar with like just throwing shit together and hoping for the best. And so the good guys are definitely doing that. I have no choice. I don't. My only choice is not to play, as they say, which is just not come to your house. That's how I win, Day. It's just I don't come to your house. Someone's to kill up in bed. Nice. Nice. I mean, shows are great. I have seen some TV shows. They're just mostly, like, things aimed at, like, 17-year-old boys that I watched when I was 10. Because my brother was watching TV, and I was like, hello. I'm here to watch. And so I definitely understand the vibe of, like, watching it with people makes it more fun. Because, like, I watched, I think, most of the first season of Community, which I don't think I would sit through again, but I was watching it with my brother, so I was having fun. Ditto for all of Alias, all of Veronica Mars, and most of Smallville. I would not have watched if I wasn't, like, sitting down with my brother and enjoying it. They're good. In TV shows, you have all the face of science and Tammy. Fair enough. Watch Time Team for experimental archaeology. They have an episode where they make a waterland dog roundhouse with that truth. Nice. And in 2 weeks, I'm like, I'm legally allowed to enter the brain to throw bricks at my house. Do not throw bricks at my house. What you were supposed to do is you were supposed to pour a glass of tap water in my local creek instead of a riverine flood warning. That was how it goes. Yeah, absolutely. Completely makes sense. And shows are good, I just lack attention. For a lot of things, somehow. Somehow, but only some things. Okay, so she leaves, so that's like 2 days later she gets the thing. The 22nd is a big day. Wow. Oh boy. Christ. A lot happens on the 22nd of Bremos. 22nd? No. Probably. I know. I'm aware. I'm aware. The 7 bricks and a promise. Arrives in this and this. Begins preparations. The 22nd. The biggest day. And the best part about the 22nd of Bremos is that the protagonist is not present for anything that I've listed on that day. That's a... like, he's not here for that. He's also not here for that. Or this. Or that. Any of that. He's not present for that. I haven't decided when he leaves yet. I didn't figure that out. And you fall into a bit much procedure. Yeah, I can understand that. I mostly... yeah, books do it sometimes. Sometimes. I need to read more books. I was like big into reading books at the very start of the year. Not because of like a New Year's resolution, but because I got reminded that books are good. And then I read 1 book voluntarily, and then that was it. And I was like, damn it. And so I think like in December I need to borrow a book or something. Or something, right? Like I need to just borrow something. Go to my library and go, give me book. Give me more Terry Pratchett. Thank you. And I'll try and read God's Gods again or something. You'll harass me at tap water until I watch stuff. I will! Eventually it will happen. I've made that promise. I've made the commitment. I will eventually end up watching stuff with you. It will happen. It's fine. You introduced a Firefly when an internet friend visited, and he spent evenings watching episodes in the front seat of his car in the parking lot. It was kind of like a cinema setting. It's a safe semi-interaction. Yeah? That's fair enough. That makes complete sense. Totally makes sense to me. Okay, that. I need to decide when he leaves. That needs to be the next bit. Which isn't military base, this one. Because he's captured here. And then... oh god, this chunk is where the shit happens. Shit starts happening in the week of that. Does that. I think it was... oh god, not again. Because then Taro was gonna show up. Taro... there's a chat. We've done... Congratulations, Taro, you've been introduced. And then... god, what else was he doing? Because he had to do things before he left. And by left, I mean escaped. And the idea was that he definitely gets back after this. Because Varm needs to be there before he does. At least by a day. So he can't be back before the 28th. God damn it. Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna fold that so I don't lose it in the mess. There are so many things happening. Yeah. Captured here. He's doing stuff here. He chats to your boy here. Then... oh, that's a chunk of delay here. Hold on a minute. Wait, yeah, because he sends the letter here, and then 3 days later it gets to him, and then he leaves immediately and gets there in 2 days. Because he books it. God damn. Oh, jeez. God damn it. Time is very complicated, and I'm confused by most of it. It's just almost like, what is happening? I don't know. Because then there's also the issue of her doing her thing. It's like, when does she actually leave? Unclear. But that was the point, is that it needs to be like fake. She arrives here, begins preparations, to be more accurate. She'd already been preparing for a while. For at least like 3 weeks, at least 2 weeks at that point. So he's still Tunjol. He probably needs to have 2 talks with him before he gets out, doesn't he? Let's say 3-3, Terror talk, 2 electric boogaloo. And then maybe, well no, he can't leave the 24th, so they'll get in there before his boyfriend. The entire point is that he can't get there before his boyfriend. What else is he doing? I mean, he can't really do anything, that's the issue. He's kind of stuck in a goddamn room for that time. Maybe he leaves on like 20... Oh, hold on. I said it takes 1 day in a rush, 2 at leisure. But they have to take a really weird route to it. This isn't marching, this is just people on horseback. But they're both rushing it and taking the worst possible route because they're trying to avoid the army who they think is coming, which they probably are, but maybe they haven't left yet. But they're avoiding that. They're avoiding that whole thing, because the quickest way would just be to go straight up, but they're worried that the army will have started marching and will mess up this whole area, and they're like, we really don't want to run into that. So instead of going straight up, like as the crow flies straight up, they've had to go basically through the mountains. So that probably at least doubles it, even though they're rushing. So it probably ends up taking them like 3 days. As opposed to when he left. When he left, he went like this way. And that took like 1.5 days. Right? Is that what my notes say? Took him 1.5 days? Took him a day. That seems a bit quick. Ugh, god damn it. Seems a bit quick for that kind of route. God damn it. This was the issue. This is what we were having problems with. Because, I mean, I guess that is kind of like a day, right? If it's... Oh, come on. Come on. If it's only 80k, and you can do 5k an hour, now you can do 12k an hour, it's only about 6 hours. So it is doable. Even if it's 10 hours, if you stop in the middle. If you leave at like 6, and you stop in the middle, so at like 11, and then leave at 1, you can get there at 6. Right? You might have to buy a new horse, but like, you got the money, probably. So you can do it, you can do that way in a day. But that's paved. That's like well, not paved, but like well-trodden roads designed for speedy travel, because Kozan is a major regional city and Shonyul's the capital. So it's very like easy to get from one to the other, generally speaking. Not now, obviously, but in general. But since they're not taking the main road, because they're pretty confident the army will have cut it off, just in case, like to prepare for that kind of thing, they would be going that way, through the mountains, and that will at least double it. And since Rider 2 can't ride super fast, because they only have 1 leg, that kind of complicates horse riding a little bit, they're probably going slower anyway. And they don't want to look suspicious, because that's the last thing they need, is to draw attention to themselves while booking it. So they can't book it, they have to go slow. So if he leaves on the 25th, he would get there on the 28th. Probably. Which means he's there for 5 days. Which is still a lot for a guy to be just stuck in a room like I am, bored out of my goddamn mind. But it's only 5 days. The assumption is that things are going to go bad like the day later or something. So I guess I just commit to Tomjol leaves Shonyol with Taro here. Then 28th, late, let's say late, Tomjol arrives in Cosden with Taro. So the only thing that happens that day, though, a lot of other stuff happens that day. At least one thing, which is Firm relays Mayan's message, which is from all the way on... Which day is that? This day. She arrived here, but she didn't talk to him until here. Because she couldn't, because he wasn't there. God damn it. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. That sorts that bit, right? Yeah, that's, you know, it's whatever. Because then there's all of these bits, too. Because I haven't done those yet. So presumably she comes, like, right behind him. Like, maybe not, like, a day later, but, like, 2 to 3 days after he gets there, she just arrives. Like, hi! Army time. And it's like, oh, shit. Panic. Major panic. Big panic. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Though, if he's coming that way, that means he wouldn't know about this. Well, he wouldn't know about either of those. He might know about this. He wouldn't know about that. That's the wrong town. Like, he would not know about that. Oh, boy. I mean, why don't I have one that, like, halves it? I need one that halves it. I need one with half opacity on that, so I can actually see the environment. Oh, did my chat crash? Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Why is my chat crashing on my phone? Why would you do that? Oh, dear. It didn't drop, did it? That better not have dropped. I swear to God. Hopefully that was just my phone being very, very mean. The timer hasn't restarted on either of them. Nope, it's reconnected. Oh, Jesus Christ. What is my phone doing? Okay, I'm okay. So I'm still up. My phone is being very rude. So I might have to keep alt-tabbing just to check. Because I might miss chat messages because it won't show up on my phone. Because it'll be like, reconnecting. I'm like, really? Why? I'm not... Yeah, Stream Manager is rough at chat. And my phone isn't very good. My phone's a bit messy. Because I can't use... I don't have a second monitor. So I'm looking at chat on my phone. And, my phone has problems. My phone has, yeah, problems. That's the politest way to put that. So, like, oh god, anyone who's seen the screenshots of me just be like, what is my phone doing? It's like, I don't know. Where's the country? There it is. That's the one. Sorry, I'm in Photoshop right now. Oh god, what's the AppleBoss thing? I think it's this one? Sorry, I'm in Photoshop. Contrary with IRC, ping IRC's top window. I don't know specifically what we mean. I get the gist, and it is a good suggestion. My issue is that I hate having clutter. I don't like having multiple windows on top. Like, I'm just not a fan. It doesn't work with me. Because I like my screens uncomplicated, mostly full screen, you know? Like, it's usually window, but like, you know, one window, whole screen. Sometimes I'll split screen it, but that's it. I don't usually do overlay. Though it is a good suggestion. I'm not, like telling you that's a bad suggestion, because it is a good one, and I might look into it to see if that might work. But my phone usually works. Usually. My phone has problems though. I don't know why, but it likes to just break. My eyeballs. My wee little eyes. Okay, here we go. Alright. I'm in. Oh, what the hell's happening here? Oh, it just looks funky because the colors are busted. Oh no. What if I do multipliers? Oh god. Overlay? That doesn't help. Hard light kind of works. Hold on. Yeah. No, yeah. Seeing chat is useful. That's why I have my phone. That's why I have my phone. I keep looking that way. That's where my phone is. But it definitely makes sense. Like, I completely get it. And then if I flatten things, flatten image. And then I can, so that everyone can see what I'm trying to do, which is shenanigan it up. How do I... Oh no, I don't know what to do. Abra merge. Chuck that in there. Just chuck it. And then I should be able to go into maps. Go into... Where are you? Oh god, they're all numbered. I forgot. They're all numbered. Yeet. There we go. Yeah, that makes it... No, it makes complete sense. And, like, I think if I had a second monitor, aside from the fact that I would just, you know, put stuff there anyway, I would be more accustomed to having multiple windows, you know, all over the place. But because I've only ever had a single monitor, like a laptop-sized monitor, I'm not used to windows everywhere. Like, when I was using, like, the school Macs, like, that makes complete sense to me, using the huge, like, gigantic Macs at school when the screen is, like, massive. I'm like, oh, that makes total sense to me. Because then you can fit, like, 70 things on that page. But on a small laptop screen, one window usually is all you fit. But yeah, a second monitor would be lovely. We had one, but then my dad took it because he needs it. Anyway, so I've made an overlay so I know what I'm actually looking at. Because if they're here and they're trying to get to there and they can't go the easy way, they go the hard way through here. Which I guess means they could have stopped here. Probably doesn't want to though. Yeah, like, you know, Windows. You know, like the software Windows. No, not the other Windows. It's just light shimming everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I would like a second monitor. The issue is that my streaming desk is separate from my like normal desk. So unless I fully claim the room that I'm currently in as like my room, which I won't because it's not my room, my second monitor would only get used like some of the time, and that's kind of depressing. Because having to move the monitor along with the laptop would be a pain. I'm like, ugh. I don't want to do that. That's the issue. That's what's keeping me from buying one. It's just like the fact that I would only use it sometimes. And that moving it would be awful. It's just like, ugh, shit. I'm in the screen stream. Yay! Multiple windows. Woo! 50 tabs. That's too many tabs. This is the most tabs I've had in ages. This is already a lot of tabs. And it's like, no. So many tabs. And yeah, I when I was making the layout, I was like, you know what? We'll do that. I'll just put the pronouns right there. Because otherwise people get confused. Which is fair. Totally fair. But I'm like, it means I don't have to say anything. She's like, you can read. You can read it. You see it. Which way is it going? It's that way. Yeah, you can read it. It makes my life easier. I mean, I could claim the room for at least another year. At least another year. Because she doesn't come back till at least 2022. So I have basically claimed it. Like, I've got my painting stuff over there. I've been using the desk for like since January or so, or at least since like March. This is like, it's basically my other room. I have like 3 rooms. My bedroom, the study, and this room, which is my sister's room. I have an entire half of a house. It's excellent. It's like, why? No one else is using it. People say you can see my tabs. Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes it's probably a good idea to just hide it. Nothing's weird in my tabs though. I always yeet them to the other window. And since I only do window capture, you don't get to see anything weird. Usually. Usually I'm smart. What was I trying to figure out? I was trying to figure out when you got back, right? Well, no, because... Oh, this was the issue, is that there's a whole thing with Town X, which I haven't named Town X yet. Which is separate from Not X. So, Town X... And the whole point is that Tumjol, the protagonist, needs to know about it. But that's an issue, depending on where the Town X is. And I guess if they stop in, like, here... But why would you stop there? Why wouldn't you just keep going? If you're basically... Unless that's where they enter. If they're going beeline for here and then travel in territory to get to Cosden. Which kind of makes sense. Since I feel like this area is fairly well fortified, it's a very awkward position to be in. So I'm like, it is. I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, Jesus. Having half a house is a kind of decadence I never believed I would have. But the only reason I have it is because we extended the house, and then my brother moved out, and then my sister has been overseas since 2019 or so. 2018? No, January 2019. She's been overseas for almost 2 years, and she's not coming back for another year at least. So it's basically just my half of the house now. Like, I've got my bedroom, I've got my bathroom, I've got a spare bedroom that I use for painting and streaming. I've got a living room, and then I have a study that was already mine, basically. It's got a communal printer in it, but like, it's basically my room. I was like, Jesus Christ. It is a mess going on in there. The setup is a bit messy. So I guess just beeline for Town X and then keep going. He wouldn't stop long in Town X though, because his whole point is get to Cosden ASAP, because people think he's dead. And he would like to correct that assumption. Or he thinks people think he's dead. They do. They do think he's dead. Because, yeah, they just think he's dead. For various reasons. So they're like, I need to get to the people that I know and tell them I'm okay. And then also my boyfriend's here now. Oh shit. He expected it. He expected that to happen. But he's like, oh god. He has a lot to deal with. And I have a lot of a house, yes. Everything seems like a lot, honestly. I mean, we extended the house large, and then my brother immediately moved out. We're like, oh, that was a waste. Oops. So, like, in hindsight, we're like, we shouldn't have made that big of a house. And if we hadn't, I would not have the setup I do. Because we wouldn't have 2 bedrooms in the back. This is the back. So I'm like, damn it. But luckily, we extended huge, so I'm like, yes! The middle class dream. And then, you stream at like 11 o'clock when your parents are asleep, and it's like, I basically have a whole house. It's excellent. I love it. No, you don't need to apologize for it. Sorry if anything I say sounds aggressive. I'm probably not intending it. Okay, so not X. I mean, yeah, if that's X, it's probably X. Bad place for X to be, but it's also the only place that X could be. I mean, yeah, you do have half a house, but your house is probably the size of half of my house. Your house is significantly smaller than mine. So, if we combine it, we have 3/4 of a house. I was like, hello, raiders! Welcome, raiders! The lemon raid! So hello to Moonflower, Coffee Quill, Sable Aradia, and to Greg, of course, the raid master. Hope you're all having a lovely day and that you got many things done during the creativity sprints. I have spent most of today staring at maps and going, how far are things? And doing time math. Time math is bad. And hello to DNH and Dazzlercat as well. But the kids call the flex. I mean, yeah, I guess it is a flex to say that I have half a house. That is a flex, yes. The benefit of you know, living at home. It helps. Good timing, Stretch. This is very good timing. Ah, jeez. Half a bigger house. I mean, it is a bigger house. That said, Day has more of a backyard. So maybe Day wins at the end of the day, because my backyard is shit. My backyard is not good. Mine is a bad backyard. Whereas they have a nice backyard. So if we combine good backyard and half of a big house, we have a house and a backyard. What? It's a fact. These are facts I'm saying. Your backyard is nice, but your house is smaller than mine. My house is huge. My house is way bigger than it should have been. Yeah. Add your half a house, and we only have 3/4 of a house. I mean, at least 3/4 of my house. Of my house. My house is big. My house is a cement slab with no grass. That is still nice. Like, you can work with that. I have a decent-ish courtyard, which is concrete, and then I have a disgusting backyard. Like, the actual, like, lawn, like, grassy part is gross. There's a cubby house, though. It's cute. No, it's alright. I don't know how we got here. Not moving back to Hooterville. Is that actually what it's called? Because, oh boy, that is a name and a half of a town, isn't it? Of a village. Called Hooterville. Yeah, it's a non-binary thinking toast. That is exactly what it is. It's non-binary thinking toast. It pairs with the Angry Bread and the rainbow dabbing duck. But the dabbing duck is only for me. I'm the only one who gets the dabbing duck. Which Day drew, but I have a dabbing duck. Ah, jeez. I like my emotes. They're cute. I still have one more slot, but it's like the level 3 slot, and I'm like... No, go for it. I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool with that. Other people's mileage may vary, but I'm just like, hell yeah. It works for me. Anyway, so what am I up to? What am I up to? So well, maybe I should mark when he get... Totally fine. I don't, I'm stepping in on Tilla's turf. It's a different kind of duck, though. Mine's like, just a... Day, what kind of duck is my duck? You're the one who drew it. What kind of duck is it? When I say 26? 3 days seems like too long, actually. 3 days is too long to travel that distance. It's only 80k, even though the terrain is bad. It would only still be a 2-day trip, especially if they're trying to go fairly quickly. So I think he has to leave on the 26th. I think he has to leave on the 26th. So 26th, he leaves. Yay, duckies! Ducks, ducks, ducks. Ducks are cute. The local ducks are cute-ish. Like, they're fine. They don't bother me. Okay, yeah, I know it's a rainbow pride duck. Was it based on a specific type of duck? Like a specific, like, actual, like, living duck? Was it just, like, the normal, like, Eastern Melbourne duck? I don't know what type of ducks we have here. In X-Town. Yeah, you know, it's a mallard. Yeah, it's a mallard. It counts. It counts. Was it X-Town or Town X? Yep, X-Town. Which I haven't named yet, so I'm going to put that in the brackets. Alright, it's next town. Yeah, Pride Mallard. Yay! It is a very small icon, just because, like, Twitch icons are fairly small. You didn't use reference, you just googled duck. Hell yeah! Duck, duck, duck. Ooh, is that a follow? Did it come through? Yes, it did! Thank you for the follow, Ash Sub Authority! And have fun at work! Yeah, the larger view. I do have the larger version somewhere. Hold on. Let me... Oh, that's probably not what I want, actually. I probably just want an actual, like, normal window. Let me go find it real quick. Let me make sure that I don't go on the wrong thing. You're trying. Your coffee is helping. Hell yeah. Come on. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. It's the other one. Yes, I'm working on it. I will find the fancy. Yes, I found the fancy. Here we go. Here we go. There you go. Bigger version of duck. I assume Day is okay with me showing it because duck is good. Duck good. He's a good duck. And I was given permission to make it one of my emotes. It's good duck. That's the list of windows that I've opened today. I'm like, there's a lot of weird things in this browser. I'm gonna finish stream like, what was I looking at? Yeah. He's good duck. He's good duck. I don't think it's actually our type of duck in, not the ones that I see, I don't think. Yeah, promote your Insta. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So, I guess I didn't open the clues once. There is spoilers and clues, but it's not that big of a deal. And I've censored the specific spoilers that matter. So, X-Town, that's a separate thing. I don't know how to get this one in, though. That's gonna be difficult. Yeah, just put your thing. I mean, yeah, yeah, I should've. I had that thing where I was trying to do Googling of army stuff, because I was like, I needed to know what ranks, like, were going on. I was like, what rank is this character? What rank is this character? And I'm doing a bunch of Googling, and then I'm like, oh shit. The army is gonna be, like, trying to advertise to me now. Yay! He's good duck. Yeah, authors look up a lot of weird sites, look up a lot of weird things, and it all looks bad. Most of my searching is fine, it just means that the Australian army is like, join the army, and I'm like, no. I will not do that. I will not join the army. Thank you for the offer. Please stop advertising to me. Please let me get back to my music now. Whee! Okay, so... what am I up to? Because now I'm up to... Because there has to be a delay from this to this. We're going to end up going into the next month, which I've forgotten the name of. Oops. Ah, right. I'm responding to a text thing saying you can't hear the message. You can't hear what's happening. Totally fair. Oh yeah. No one wants to get. Oh shit. Oh boy. Right out of the home. No one really wants to be arrested in Japan or otherwise. I don't think. Right? No. Ivanet Niosh. Ivanet Niosh. I will do no such thing. I guess it'd be Ivanet Niosh do not. Which just sounds like do not. No, it's not. Ivanet Niosh to not. And that is my message to the youth. Just don't. I mean, do if you want, but I'm like, no, I'm good. Okay, so if... Let's say she arrives on the 31st. Moon time. She arrives on the 31st. Yeah, it's backwards. That's why I was having difficulty making, turning don't backwards. Hence, Ivanet Nioj to nod. Don't join the Navy. I mean, join it if you want, but I'm like, eh. I mean, they do keep trying. I think that's what they switched. They went from Army to Navy, and I'm like, that's not any better. Like, at least in the Army, I'm like, okay, it's on land, thank God. But Navy, I'm like, I can't swim, dude, stop. You can't advertise to me. It won't work. It just won't work. I mean, I was going to do the Army anyway, but I'm like, at least the Army I can theoretically do. Oh, of course, it's The Simpsons. God damn it. Everything is better, downwards, better, fight on the sea. Oh, God. I mean, sure. Sure. Excellent. That's a good song to be stuck in my head. I love it. So if it takes Let's say she left 5 days earlier. We can't resist sitting lobster. Luna begins the march. Wait. Oh, actually, hold on. No, because... No, so she kind of started then, because he relays the information here. And that's new information. Big people can fit in submarines too. They build for that. But yes, being short means that I would find it fairly easy to physically navigate a submarine. That doesn't mean I want to. I lack the forearm strength required to turn all the valves required. That was the word required too often. They're gonna make me push the buttons, aren't they? Oh god. No. I can think of nothing worse than being in a submarine. Being who I am. Like, no. Submarine's a no-go. I am not going in a submarine anytime soon. A beach submarine? Sure. Like on the land, in like a museum. I'm not going in a submarine in the ocean. That's not happening. Oh yeah, they'd work it. They'd work me into having the strength required. And yeah, that makes sense. They're like, hey, small submarine, small people. That makes sense. I'm just like, oh god, no. If he relays the message here, because he received it overnight. When did she leave? I don't know. It's meant to keep the ocean out. It's still terrifying. I don't think I would work well. Depth is scary, and submarine is all about depth. I'm just like, no, thanks. Yeah, it is all pressing buttons, that's true. I probably wouldn't be there as an engineer anyway, I'd just be there, doing software stuff, just push the buttons. And no, it doesn't matter if I can swim, but the fact that I can't swim means that I'm scared of deep water. Submarine is all deep water. No thanks. You've been in a submarine once in a museum, it wasn't fun. Yeah, yeah. A U-boat. Didn't have to duck. And even then. I mean, yeah, I would like to go in a submarine and a tank. Like a submarine and a tank. Just to see what kind of space we're working with. And then that's it. I don't need to go back. You can just do the one. Like, I've been on boats, and I'm like, yeah, boats fine. Still can't swim, but at least I'm above the water. Boats. But like, oh boy, no thanks. I don't need to go in the underwater capsule. There, remote control. Ah, yes. That's how we succeed. That's how I win. So I remote control the submarine. I'm like, I'm not in it. It doesn't matter. We were kind of in a sub. It was Disneyland. Ah, okay. I mean, yeah, drone control, fine. Like, I'm sure the army could make me do something. I just don't want to do it. But they'll keep advertising, and I'm like, no. I don't want to be a corporal. And with a ferry ride to the islands, and that intimidates her. Honestly, fair. You've been in a subway. Yeah, I have been in a subway. I had to check. I'm like, have I been in a subway? Or I've been to a subway? But no, I have been in a standalone subway building. And I'm like, neat. Bought like a whole bunch of sandwiches. And then also like the train station, but we don't call it the subway here. But I guess it's a subway. By default. Maybe we'll check her back a bit. Because it needs to be time for things to happen. Oh yeah, we meant submarine. But still. It's like I haven't been in a submarine, I've been in a subway, and I've been in a subway, like a train station subway. But that's it. You're still making her do it. Hell yeah. Boats. I like boats. Boats are alright. I haven't been on one in ages, though. All I remember is it not making me, like, seasick, and everyone being confused by that, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's fine. We'll say notice how I'm here. So 5 days later, Muna arrives, which means I guess 34th. Raid on. Oh, hold on. Raid on Riyadh? Come on. The weekend is close, so. I'm scared what the "so" is leading into. What is this? What is? Also, the weekend isn't close. It's Tuesday. Okay, it's Wednesday, but it's Tuesday. You know? 12:20 on a Wednesday is still Tuesday. It's hour 13 on Tuesday. Hour 25, I guess. And to recreate the scene I wrote in a boat, that would involve figuring out how to do it without having a boat. Oh no. Oh, you did? Oh, it didn't come up. Oh my god, phone. Oh no. That's rude. Okay. We can sprint though. I don't know why it didn't show on my phone. My phone is bad. Yeah, it's the weekend of doom. It's Tuesday until I go to sleep, exactly. We do the Japanese thing here where, like, they go and, like, some programming is like, it starts at 2600 hours, and it's like, what hour is that? It's 2 in the morning. It's like, yeah. It's still Tuesday, though. It's Tuesday until I go to sleep. But yes, since Day has redeemed for sprint, which I did not notice, and I was worried something was coming, but no, it's just a sprint. We shall do a 10-minute sprint. I have the sprint timer down here. It's not super legible, but it exists. And we will do 10 minutes of just attempting to figure stuff out. So, we shall begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. I didn't hit Clinton. There we go. A 10-minute sprint now for anyone who would like to be productive. I'll attempt to keep plugging away at the timeline. Read of why? Why? Oh, she was battle town. Town. Thanks. Oh. Just to go straight. Well, wait, no, it needs to be quicker, because he doesn't get to do something until later. He's being busy. So it actually needs to be close to like 30, which means this day is 31-ish. He just ends up being really busy, because he probably gets like conscripted into doing it. You're like, hey bud, while you're here, join the army. It's like, god damn it. Get in with this shit. Guess 32 or 33. Maybe it's like a 2-day thing. 2 days in? Hopefully ends in Big 3. I'll have to make a note of what that is too. That'll probably go between those two. 3 notes. And then that's the first. water. Oh, so. Steak. God, 9:30 is too early in the morning for me. That's a disgusting time of day. Ew. Damn. Where is town block? Presumably it's like here, which is not good. That's not good for the Medora if it's like here. This coastline's here. I mean, it could be something like up here. They could be trying to just cut off the river, which is probably smart, but they presumably have reinforced the river quite a lot compared to that. Coastline's like there, right? Right? Where is it? Oh, God damn it. Give me a proper map, please. And then we're down here, right? Yep, that is there. Probably. Because surely if it's there, they would know that's a bad idea to let that whole hill go. They presumably reinforced all three of those hills. It would be the in-between shit that stuff gets bad. But if this is town X, then that's not a great idea for that to be the meeting point, because that can get cut off in the valley, presumably, with any attention. So, we need to be a wider country. We're too thin. Like, yeah, it's like 20k, but like, you're too thin. Stop it. It probably goes to like 10k. It is not wide at all. Like, that is less distance than you need to the city. That shit's like my goddamn suburb. Back to sleep. Always an option. Well, it can't be anywhere in here either. Unless town X is in here. Gives the country his needs to fatten up. Needs more meat in them bones. Country too skinny. I mean, this country's lucky they didn't lose that. No. There isn't. No, well, they're on a mountain range, but this is this bit's more like the plain stuff. They're very new. They're a new country, so their border isn't super defined yet. But this is like their area of current control. Ditto for like these weird blotches. Those are areas of current control, rather than an actual official border. But the idea was that they were holding these three like big mountain hills because hills are good. Hills are good. The borders are where they are because I squiggled a line on a map. in universe, it's because people in these areas agree with the secessionist thing. Because the orange chunk is trying to secede from the red chunk. So these are basically all just like republic, like people who want a republic. And they're just all kind of, their borders are kind of funky for the minute. In theory, when they figure stuff out, they'll like smooth out more. We'll get jankier, who knows. Alright, see you, Siobhan. Have a nice sleep. Like, these are very, very temporary borders. Which is why they're dashed. It's effective control, currently. I mean, that they hate the Empire. The reason they agree with the Republic is that they hate the Empire. Empire bad. That's pretty much the only depth there is. I mean, there's a whole thing about like being mistreated by the Empire in specific ways, but it is mostly just Republic, like Empire bad. We want representation. We'll make our own, and then make their own country for it. But this border will probably not last because they're kind of waiting for foreign people to hopefully show up and help. And when's that gonna happen? Kinda depends. I mean, they'll make it eventually, and like ideally they would want to push out more as well, because if they can get the red on the back foot, they'll push in more. But that requires them to win, and they haven't got that yet. Anyway, that was the end of the 10-minute sprint. Woo! So I got, bits done, and then I set it a map, but I was thinking the entire time, which is productivity to me. That counts as being productive. What else, Alberta? Have American values? Oh, British Columbia. Government's weird. Politics is weird, and that's why my brain simplify things a lot. I mean, there is like context for why I like this area is democratic, namely that it's got there's the fact that the blue country recently became a democratic, like a constitutional democracy. So that's like, and since this area has been like historically like chill with the blue, they're like, ooh, neat ideas. Interesting. The green chunk is a republic as well, like it's a different country. And there's a lot of people from this country in here for various reasons that aren't super clear. It's got like a very diverse population in this kind of area. And so there's a degree to which they are not represented by the elites down here. So they're just like, hey, no. And they just get out of there. That's the kind of vibe. It's politics. To an extent, doesn't matter to the protagonist, he doesn't care. He's mostly all about protecting his friends. Yeah, you asked 9 questions and entered 2 fraction titles into World Anvil. Hell yeah! That's productive! Like, they're fairly simple motivations, but if an area is being ignored by the elites and they're not represented in, like, the minuscule amount of government, they're like, no, fuck you. And so they're demanding representation, and they do that by seceding and making their own. Because the whole thing is, like, the Emperor is from here, and they were like, okay, the Emperor is from here, he'll get it, he'll understand our struggle, and he'll support us, and he'll, like, he'll pass laws as the Emperor that will benefit us and his community. And then he didn't, because he's an asshole. And because he basically, like, went full city slicker kind of thing. Full on in that. And they were like, oh, okay. And then the Emperor adopted some other dickhead to be his heir, who isn't from here either. And they're like, okay, so we see where this is going. You don't care about us. The Emperor doesn't care. The purple group who want to be the Emperor also don't care. And neither does the lady doing the march. She doesn't care. So it's like, we'll do it ourselves. none of the major political factions in the Empire care about the Northeast. Like, as long as the Northeast makes food, they don't care. And so they basically do very little to support the Northeast in any way. They just kind of, like, they do, like, the bare minimum. It's mostly based around, like, the big farmers kind of thing. Yeah, farmers feed cities. So they think, like, hey, we're like the breadbasket of the region. Support us. But they're like, no. No, let's not do that. They support the big farmers. The small farmers get, you know, shitty pay and everything. And they're like, well, shit. And then, you know, politics happens. And they overthrow the elite. Republicans now. Well, Republic now, rather. And then that's all the whole thing. I mean, they have some big names in there, but they're mostly, like, specific people who are like, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah. I don't know if I based it on anything specific, but it's a kind of vibe. They're probably not communist. They're probably not communist. That said, they are definitely, you know, they want a republic. They'd like to be represented in parliament. A little bit. I mean, you can definitely use magic to enhance farming beyond what, like, a person of this kind of era would be able to do. Which makes it a bit easier. So they'd probably also be in things. But, like, it's mostly just, like, you know, using water magic to, like, water your field more efficiently, kind of thing. So they'd be doing a bunch of that kind of stuff. But you do sometimes just need somebody to go in there, and you can't use magic to harvest the field. You still need hands on the ground, like feet on the ground. And so there'd be a lot of, like, fairly cheap and probably largely imported labor dealing with, like, actual harvest. Which is part of why the area is so diverse, because a bunch of people from poor regions elsewhere come here because it's guaranteed employment during harvest. Because where they're from, the harvest isn't great, or there's not enough business around it. But here, guaranteed, and so they come here, and then the area becomes very diverse, and then they all get very frustrated that they're not represented by the very specific type of elites. And things happen. It's a whole thing. That said, their president is a baroness. So, that's their problem. They made a choice. They've made a couple of choices. A lot of their high-ranking people are elites. But it's like, yeah, in theory, it'll stop doing that after a while. In theory. I mean, the baroness isn't currently a baroness, so maybe that's fine. She did get stripped of that title because, oopsie daisies. Democracies. She's around. I think I need a little bit. I mean, I feel like there would definitely be, like, in the very least, compared to the empire they're trying to break away from, the Madura is definitely, like, at least a little bit socialist. Like, they are well on the other side. They're like, we will support the worker, you know, we've been, you know, like, exploited and all that. And so that's definitely, like, their kind of vibe. Whether they are, like, full on all the way over, probably not. At the very least, because that would be a very radical stance to take, because the societies, like, there's 2 republics and the rest are monarchies. I feel like it'd probably go too far. I think even Marxism might be a bit far for them. They're still, like, it's still I mean, like, it's not that, like, a socialist or communist country couldn't be, like, democratic. Not kind of. But, like, they're probably more, like, gentle socialist. Gently socialist. At the very least, in comparison. Yeah, I think it was the next day, next domini. Ooh, interesting. I definitely pronounced all of those wrong. These fancy Latin words, and it's like, ah, shit. I don't know Latin. It's like, is it neck? Is it netch? Is it nest? Oh no. The C. The C is terrifying. The letter C. I am afraid of it. I didn't? Oh, okay. Victory. Things are mostly correct. I mean, they might sort of lean monk, but they're probably still fairly, like, I guess, standard democratic. Oh, excellent. Hell yeah. It matched Google's, and that's all that it needs to be. All it needs to do is match Google. Because that's the closest we'll get. So if would that be town X? Probably town X. But then where is town Y? I don't know. Maybe town Y is like down here. But then, this is not, I did not think this through. I mean, because if they could take that mountain and just cut that entire chunk off. So then this would be town Y, and town X is somewhere in here. Yeah, so I think what the Battle of Town Y is she takes this entire, like, she cuts this nub off of the Medora, just cuts it out. And so then when the dude tries to negotiate, they end up coming somewhere over here on this other mountain, on this other hill area. And they're like, please, dear God, make this work. Which explains that this is a multi-day affair. It's kind of a whole thing. Oh, let's call that faction neck day. I love it. Ah, yes, the neck day. Okay, so... Alright, so... Yeah. Fuck. Disgusting. Okay, so town Y is the nub of the southwest of the Medora, the single hill. She conquers that region, but stops in the valley plain between it and the other two mountain hills in the region. X-Town, which is the site of negotiations between Glorion and Muna, is located on the northern most of the hill trio, but not the top, more on the side kind of vibe. And the result, certain faction members have made a fashion of neck tattoos. People are weird. I mean, that makes complete sense to me. That seems like a sensible thing. Hey, they're gonna call this neck day, I'm gonna own it. We don't skip neck day. They've got neck tattoos, they've got like bandanas, cravats, they got all the neck accessories. It's great. Okay, so actually, can I put I can't. Damn it. I was really hoping I'd be able to do that. But instead, let's go in here. Let's go in here. Was it the Medora? Did I just use the actual map for the Medora? I did. I just used the actual map input. Okay. And accessories. We have too many Amy's on the server. There are 4+ people named Amy. Oh god. I mean, it happens, doesn't it? I mean, put it this way, there are 2 people in the moderation team named Isaac. It happens. It's weird, but it happens. Like, sometimes names are not polite to us. We just have the same name. I'm gonna make Comatrid go away. That server's fun. That server's neat. We try our best. Oh, on this other server. Ah, okay. But this... Oh, amicable. There we go. I got it. I figured it out. I got the fun. Oh, shit. I got it. Ah, I figured it out. So I was misreading the word amiable. Didn't get the pun initially. Ah, but a knitting server's nice. Knitting is fun. I say, having not knitted. I would like to knit. Oh no. I need... I guess orange. Just keep using the orange ones. Is there like a town one in here? How do you not have just a town village? Here we go. This is town Y. Town conquered by Muna during the titular Battle of. And then we'll check that in the marker group, cities and landmarks. And I guess it's public. Sure. Oh, I know. I am aware. Shiro streams like just at the edge of like when I'm still awake. I mostly just need materials. That's my thing. I need materials. I was really, because like for an assignment I sewed a book, by which I meant I cut a bunch of like fabric panels and I sewed images into them, kind of like, what's it called? Cross stitch. It was kind of like cross stitch, but I was using literally just a sewing needle and regular sewing thread. And all it did was make me really want to actually cross stitch. But I don't have the materials. That said, Spotlight keeps yelling at me to please buy something. And so I'm like, maybe I will. Yeah, it was kind of embroidery, was the kind of thing that I was doing. It was very, very janky. It was a very janky kind of embroidery. Because, like, I had a hoop and everything. I have an embroidery hoop. But, oh boy. It happened. It was I mean, I had fun, but it was an absolute mess of an assignment to work on. Because I was literally making a book out of fabric. It was a pain in the butt. And then in between the pages and the cover, all the threads were coming through because I connected the pages to the cover, and I was like, it's really hard to describe. It was a really weird assignment. Knitting is easy to get the materials for, you're right. And that's the thing, is like, I know exactly where I can get them. I'm not sure if that store is open though. I have received conflicting reports as to when it's actually opening again. Because all of our retail was closed. And I don't usually shop online for stuff that I know I can get in person. So I basically need to be like, hey, when we go and, shop, can we swing via and buy a bunch of knitting stuff? And it's like, why do you want to knit? It's like, why wouldn't I? What else am I gonna do? Prison spaghetti. I mean, yeah, you can knit with basically any thread that's thick enough and strong enough, but it's a matter of, do I have it? The answer is no. I mostly only have like actual like sewing thread, and you can't. I mean, no, you can't knit with sewing thread. I mean, you kind of can, but holy shit. At that point, I might as well just start doing like Scoobies again. I don't need to do Scoobies again. That said, I have a lot of Scooby material. If anyone knows what Scoobies are, I have so much Scooby stuff. So many Scoobies. Knitting with sewing thread would be a nightmare, though. That's like, okay, yeah, that's fair. That's a different kind of thing. That's a different kind of threadcraft. Town where Florian and Muna negotiate. Yeah, the plastic stuff. Yeah, the Scoobies. Scoobies, no, not Scooby strings, Scoobies. Yeah, these Scoobies. These goddamn motherfuckers. Look at them. I have all of this stuff. I have a box of this stuff. Because my sister was really into it. And, I mean, yeah, it is basically the same kind of vibe. Like, that is basically, like, because you even do the pencil thing, where you have the pencil as the top, and then because, like, that's usually how knitting works. You have, like, the rail at the top, and then you sort of work down from it. You have the rail at the top, it kind of vibes. You can totally knit with Scooby. It's just, I think most of mine's degrading. Posted macrame, okay, yeah. But it's a similar kind of thing. I haven't done it in years, though. Like, this was like a 2005 kind of thing. Like, this is the old stuff. When were Scoobies last a thing? Who last used Scoobies? Yeah, Scooby-Doo. Scooby what? Scooby-Doo? Scooby? Oh. Oh, okay. So it was a fad in the 50s, and then it just came back in the early 2000s, and then we stopped doing that. But also, holy shit. Oh, this is cool. I mean, 2005 is 15 years ago. There are people online who are younger than when Scoobies were last like a big thing, among people that I know. Admittedly, I aged out of it, but like, you know, like the old. Yeah. I mean, my thing was just my sister was doing them, so I had them, and I made a couple. They weren't good, but I made a couple. They're around. They're scattered around the house, and then all the materials are in a box somewhere. Oh, this is cramped. I love this. She's like, yes, downtime. Oh god. Oh god. See, people online. Young. I say. I'm only 2 years older than you. Because I'm 1999. But, like, people are young. I know. You get the wide variety. Which is the best part. I love that. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, like 3rd or 4th grade. Ooh. I think my sister was early high school when it was a thing for her. I was in around like 2nd grade, I think. It was like just after Tamagotchi. I think that's how it went. Like Tamagotchi and then Scoobies was the order of fads at the time. God, I miss Tamagotchi. Okay, so this is town Y, and this is X town, which there's something to work with X town. And then what other things have I got in here? I probably should put that away. I can delete that bit of the order notes, because that doesn't matter anymore. I've already done that, I think. Because he arrives here, and then he leaves here. He was there for at least 4 days. At least, like, 3. At least 3. It's on the walk up the man's kids, get off the lawn. Get off my lawn. Damn kids. Damn youths. The youths. The wee children. It's incredible. I think what'll really hit me when I realize like that when it will happen that I'm super old is when I'm like 30 and then someone who was born in like 2010 is online. Like 2023 will be the year when it gets confusing, because then there'll be like people who were born in 2010 and I'm like, I was in like grade 6 when this happened. What? Utes rhymes with newts. The utes. Well, because that's just the word ute. That's just the word ute, like a car. They're not cars, they're just young whippersnappers. Youths. I'm super old when I'm 30. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to say anything. Listen, when you're in your 20s, 30 is old. 30 is a long in the future. Like, what? That's 2029? I don't even know what I'll be doing in 2029. That's a mystery to me. That is a mysterious realm I have not considered. 34 or 35. Negotiation time. It goes poorly. I'm sorry, Carpsy. I'm sorry. Oh no. Oh god, they are in their 30s, you're right. I keep forgetting. I mean, my brother's 31 now, and I'm like, how are you 31? What the hell? How? Old. Age. Time affects so. Time just keeps on marching forward, and I'm scared of it. I'm just like, oh god. The age. It goes. Poorly. Very, very poorly. Husband finds out how poorly on the same day. Late. Oh. Things go bad, which is that. That's what that is. Oop. Beep, beep. What is the notification? Ah, thank you for the follow, Carpsy. Why is my phone not updating my activity feed anymore? Why is it being mean? Rude. I'm glad I have like at least sound on, so I'm like, ah yes, things are happening. Okay, there we go. Just checking. I didn't miss anything else. Okay. Oh geez, it's almost 5 too. Okay. Alright. We don't have time for another sprint because I only have 5 minutes left because at 1 o'clock I finish. Next question is... Because Bob wouldn't be live yet, but oh, Bob is actually live yet, but we'll be rating Bob, RPG Dinosaur Bob, in about 5 minutes. So I guess we got 5 minutes to spare of me staring at my own screens going, what's happening? Your frames have nearly quadrupled with the new drive. Your frames have nearly quadrupled. And you might, yes. Excellent. Hell yeah. That means I don't have to keep looking at the unfilled out map of mine. Oh Jesus. Oh Lord. Ow. My hair. I didn't actually plan out how that resolves, which is not great. I probably should have figured out. I should probably figure out what happens to the diplomat at some point. That's probably something I should figure out. I'm like, yeah, you know, they managed to kidnap him. I'm like, what happens to him? I was like, I don't know. I thought it would be cool. I thought it would be a cool thing to happen. I'm like, oh shit. And then there's the fight, the poisoning, and I'm like, what is happening? This has been a rough month for Tom John. Oh god, and then like I guess next day, overnight. Plans made for his release. Either prisoner exchanges. Oh, actually, yep. Probably prisoner exchanges. Possibly the Taro going to Muna. Yeah, I think it never. Oh no. 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 In the narrative, yes. In the real life, no. Next day overnights can be a bit scary. Oh god. Oh god. What does that mean? Oh god. Next day. Negotiations for release. Okay, we're running out of the timeline breaks down here. Luckily, I don't even know if I'd even get to that for like 2 weeks, which is good. Thank God. That's a mess. But we do get to the 2nd month, which is nice. I should actually quickly, before we raid off, I'm going to Nick Day nightclubs. Ah, you've already got your sign. Oh no. I need to pull up the name of a month. Because that was all in 1 month. Yes, it is Relauis. I knew it. I knew it was Relauis. Relauis. Things continue. Yeah, it's a fun month. Poor guy. Poor guy. Alright. So it is now 1 in the morning, which means that it is now the end of my scheduled streaming time. And as usual on Tuesday streams, what we do is we send off a raid to RPG Dinosaur Bob, who, have I muted it? Yes, I do, yes. Yes, he is properly live. It is time to go. So before I actually begin the raid call, I have a raid. My raid call is get ready, and you can use the channel points to redeem the emote. I think it costs like, I think it's 480, which is a lot of points. I might see if I can tweak that a bit more, but you can claim the bread so that we can throw bread. Get ready is our raid call, of course, because bread. I mean, you can see the bread. There's a sandwich over there. It's always bread. And of course, thank you all very much for coming. I hope you all had a lovely time, whatever it is you were doing while watching my stream. And I hope that you all have a lovely day. I know that you will have a fun time with RPG Dinosaur Bob, because he is lovely, and you will have fun. I'm not sure what he's working on today, but we'll find out when we get there, won't we? And yes, we can just throw... Yeah, that'll work. Oh god, my mouse disappeared. Oh shit. Oh no. Help. 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 My mouse disappeared. Okay, so thank you for coming. Hope you have a lovely time. And I will see you all around, hopefully. Bye-bye.